All right, Master Baba, Master Z, and Master Chris. This is going to be part 2 from the last tape that I gave a talk. I wanted to follow up because Baba was asking me to go deeper into the solar system of the different planes and how these planes are as within, so without. These planes are a macrocosm and a microcosm. Everything in this universe is within you. And so today we're going to talk more about your initiation and how they line up to these various planes, these realms. Because the path of ascension, everyone's going to transcend or ascend up this great chain of being. We're going to move up through the gross, subtle, and causal planes. And so today I'm going to be reading from, again, Joshua David Stone and his book, The Ascension Manual, How to Achieve Your Ascension in This Lifetime. Now, last time we talked about this, I wanted to follow up because Baba wanted me to talk more about these planes and how they associate with our ascension and our initiations. But, all right. Now, just to recap, let's look at this chart that the masters gave us. And this chart shows us the whole creation of the cosmos as within, so without, and as without, so within. The microcosm and the macrocosm. Everything out in all these different planes in the universe dwell within us. And we are made of the same substance as all of these planes. You have a physical body on the physical plane. And as we move up the ladder of ascension, we have an astral body on the astral plane. And then as we move up another step, we have a mental body that exists on the mental plane. And of course, this is also called the causal plane because the causal is where our karmic records are stored. That's on the mental plane. And then as you raise your consciousness higher, you go through the void. They call this the etheric plane. And just beyond that, you have your soul exists on the soul plane. And above your soul, your individuated soul, you have the oversoul, which is God. So the entire goal of ascension is to attain self and God realization. On the physical plane, you're going to purify your physical body. You're going to do this through perfect diet, exercise, abstaining from alcohol and poisons, drugs and things like that. You let all that go on the physical plane and you purify your physical body. And you're going to raise the vibration of your physical body by doing this. Now on the astral plane, you purify your astral body. And this is your emotional body. And you purify the emotional body through devotion and love for your chosen master, the inner master, your inner guide. You dedicate your devotion to him within you, and this purifies your emotional body on the astral plane. And then on the mental plane, you purify the mental body through meditation. And once the mind has been crucified through meditation, your soul now resurrects through the etheric, and realizes the I am presence. And the I am presence is now self-realized. This is called self-realization. When the individual soul realizes its I am self. Now, the resurrected soul, it begins its ascension process until it realizes its oneness with the oversoul and attains God consciousness. So this is called the ascension. You see, on the mental plane, you crucify the mind. And then through the etheric plane, like a phoenix rising out of the ashes of the compulsive thinking that the mind has been engaged in all this time. So like a phoenix rising out of the ashes of the mind, the soul begins to emerge. The soul begins to emerge and is released and realizes the I am presence. And this is called self-realization. And then once the soul is self-realized, it begins its ascension process through the different levels until it attains God consciousness with the oversoul. Now that's the entire process, and it's experienced, and it'll always be confirmed to you through your dream initiations that you experience with your inner master. So the way this happens is through your devotion and dedication to the inner master, reading these teachings of the masters, hearing their words on a daily basis, contemplating their teachings, and listening to your dreams and receiving those initiations in your nighttime dreams. This is how you make your ascension. Now, a lot of people think that you leave the physical to go to the astral, and then you leave astral and go to the mental. No. What happens is you raising the vibration of these different bodies. And when you reach the oversoul and attain God realization, you become a whole being, which includes all of these different planes and every body that exists on these planes. You're merging all these planes together in yourself. You're becoming a whole being. And this is what it means to ascend. And so if you want to use the teachings of Master Jesus, you're going through your death, resurrection, and ascension. Your death is on the mental plane when you die to your ego mind. Your resurrection is when the soul awakens to the I am presence on the soul plane. And your ascension is when the soul merges with the oversoul. This entire process is pictured with Jesus through his death and resurrection and ascension. That's what all of that is about. So you're becoming a new creation. The soul is going through all of this in order to be rebirthed as a new creation. And that's what all these planes are for. The planes are nothing but a classroom for the soul to come down and to be reborn spiritually back up through this process. If you take one step towards the inner masters on the inner planes, they will take 10 steps toward you. And that's powerful. Because what that means is that when you're reading these teachings, you are aligning yourself with their aura and their consciousness. And so you're taking on their frequency of light. And this is what happens when you decide in your incarnation that you're ready to begin the ascension. There are 7 planes of our solar system. Our solar system, a reading here from the Ascension Manual, our solar system is made of 7 planes or dimensions of reality. In the process of our spiritual evolution or our ascension and initiation, it is necessary to master and evolve through these planes. So that's one thing you got to be clear about. If you're going to begin the path of ascension, then you're going to have to step foot on the evolutionary journey and go through that ascension, through the process of initiation, through these planes. There is a cosmic physical plane. There is a cosmic astral plane, a cosmic mental plane, a cosmic Buddhic plane, which is the soul plane, a cosmic Atma plane, the oversoul, and a cosmic monadic plane. And then there's a logos or logica. I can't even pronounce it. It's a logoic plane. They're not just out there. They also be within us. So when you resonate with the vibration of the frequency of these teachings, and you read the teachings of the masters, and you do your decrees, you do your decrees and your affirmations, and the mantras that the masters give you, well, you are aligning yourself with their vibration. And so every plane, what we talked about last time, you have a physical body, you have an astral body, you have a mental body, all the way up to the highest plane. So every plane you have a body. And your goal when you came here into this incarnation is to work on these bodies. So you have to purify and raise the vibration of each of these bodies on the inner planes, you see, and in order to transcend and evolve up the ladder of ascension. And of course, when you do this, you do it with the help of the master who initiates you in your dreams at night. Through dream work, your inner master will initiate you and take you up these planes. So let's begin a discussion on the different initiations that you're going to go through with the inner master, your chosen master, and how he, through the dreams at night, will initiate you up these planes and evolve you through the planes of consciousness. Now, just keep in mind that the ascension, the process, the entire process of your ascension is going to be moving from your human personality and freeing your attention, that is your consciousness, from body identification. That's the first step. And then you'll release your attention back into or up into the higher planes of your own inner being, and your attention finally really reaches the I am presence of you. And this is where you're going to attain self-realization. But see, this is only half of the story on the ascension path of ascension. So now we want to go from the human ego personality to the I am presence. And then we go from the I am all the way to the oversoul and back to the absolute reality itself. So when we came into this incarnation, we came down through the frequency and vibration of these different planes. And we wound up being born here on the earth plane. And this is called the involution, where we all came down. Now it's time to go back up, and this is the alchemy of ascension, where you go back up. Now you're taking back a conscious soul with you. You're developing your soul through this entire journey. These planes can be looked at as a classroom, and they're more like a classroom that serve like a background. You know what I'm saying? Like a background to your ascension. So let's just see all these cosmic planes are within you and they're in the universe, but they are also just a backdrop for your soul to develop and grow. That's all this is for. Through an alchemical process of transmutation. Now, let's start with the very lowest initiation. It's called the probationary period. Now, Master Z, Master Chris, and Baba, you all been through this. You've done this with me. When we walked there in Denver and Colorado, we did the probationary period already. But I'm going to recap with you what you've already went through. The probationary path, I'm reading from Joshua Stone. The probationary path precedes the path of initiation. So the probationary period, you haven't even begun your initiations yet. And it marks a period in life of a person when he sets himself on the side of the forces of evolution, as soul evolution, and works at the building of his own character. So see, you're developing higher virtues and qualities by coming down into the earth plane, forgetting who you are, and then remembering your true self and awakening back through the ascension of your consciousness, through initiation into these various planes, purifying or cleansing the different bodies that are associated with each plane, and now you are building character. The probationary path might be likened to the 9 months of birth of a baby, you see. You see, the birth hour would mark the beginning of the first initiation. So the probationary period is like being in your mother's womb. You're not even born yet. Your first initiation, which we haven't got to yet, your first initiation would be like your birth, your spiritual birth. He says then, the person on the probationary path is taught principally to know himself, the I am, to ascertain his weaknesses and to correct them. So the probationary path is just you making the decision that you want to attain your ascension above all else. Now, the spiritual aspirant is taught the basics of divine wisdom and is entered into the final grades of the Hall of Learning. Now, you all went through this, and I know you've met your master on the inner planes. Baba, you told me about this, how you met your master on the inner planes, and he gave you Diksha or Darshan, and he awakened you, and the experience was so powerful, Baba. It shook you up. And that was your first initiation. So you moved out of this probationary period. And so all of you done been through this, if you're hearing this. If you hadn't, and if someone else is listening to this tape, then this is what the probationary period looks like. Now, reading from Joshua Stone, we're going to keep reading the first initiation. Now, check this out. See if you can see if you've had this initiation or not. If you have not, then you can contact your master on the inner planes simply by calling him out to prayers, to your own invocations, your decrees. That's right. Your decrees, I done told y'all this, your decrees are like technology. It's the spiritual technology for our age. So you use the technology that I gave you in order to contact your master. It's like calling him on a phone. Once you start dialing the number through your decrees, he hears it and he resonates with that vibration. So the first initiation in Joshua David Stone's book, How to Achieve Ascension in This Lifetime, the first initiation is the first step into the spiritual kingdom. This is where you are born spiritually. The disciple has left the hall of ignorance. In other words, you've come out of darkness and the hall of learning and entered the hall of wisdom. Now you've entered a whole new school. You're in a different classroom after your first initiation. You have now begin your schooling. So now you're in class. Before, you wouldn't even in kindergarten. Now, I guess you could say that the probationary period is like kindergarten. Your first grade is like your first initiation. So he says, control over the physical body must be reached a high level. So you got to overcome your passions and all your bodily attachments. The sins of the flesh must be dominated. You got to conquer your lust and the passions in your first degree. This is going to be your spiritual work. This is what the first grade is for. Now, in this first degree, you're in the physical plane. You're ready to move into the astral. So you're going through this. You got to conquer gluttony, alcoholic drunkenness. You let that go in the first degree, in the first initiation, and must no longer control the disciple. You got to get away from all addictions. You can't be addicted and enter the path. The masters won't accept you. You have to let all that go. The first initiation stands for a commitment, a certain structure of right living or thinking and of control has been attained. So now you've got control of your mind and your bodily attachments have been conquered. This is why I call you masters. You're master because you have mastered your attachments. You've overcome them. You have outcreated your attachments. You become a master now. You're a co-creator with God, and you outcreate all that other stuff. All these other attachments got to be outcreated. And that's what happens after your first initiation. The first initiation is regarded by the masters as signifying admission to the path. You see, in the life of Master Jesus, This initiation is signified as the birth of Christ, or the birth of the Christ life. You see, that's what happens in your first stage initiation. You see? The lives of initiates of the first initiation are beginning to be controlled by the Christ consciousness. Now that's just in the first degree initiation. As you raise your vibration and you start purifying your astral body. So in your first initiation, you're purifying the physical body, but you're getting prepared for the astral body, to cleanse it and to raise the frequency and vibration. And so you're just now beginning to tap into the Christ consciousness, which is the consciousness of responsibility and unconditional love and service. And that is the first degree initiation. So now let's look at the second initiation. Now, what wasn't second initiation going to be, Bubba? Master Z, Master Chris, what? Here it is. Now, I believe that all of you have already tapped into and attained those first degree initiation. And I know you have. So let's see if you have tapped into the second initiation yet. The main lesson of the second initiation has to do with mastery of the astral and emotional body. Like I said, every plane has a corresponding body. You have a body. You have an astral body on the astral plane. You have a mental body on the mental plane. You have a causal body on the causal plane. And each one of these bodies, as you have seen through these planes, by way of initiation, each body must be purified and made right. So here, in the second degree, we're going to be purifying the astral body. And that has to do with emotion. The initiation, or this initiation, the second initiation, has to do with the sacrifice and death of desire. You're going to conquer, you're going to raise your consciousness above desires. The lower nature is rapidly being controlled. The astral elemental is controlled, and the emotional body becomes pure and serene. Now, anybody who's attained through meditation that the second degree, you know what it means to be at peace, because your emotional body is not in turmoil. You've conquered it. You've outcreated all the negative attachments on an emotional level. And it says here, dedication, he says, the emotions are brought under control, and necessarily the factor of the mind assumes an increasing importance. See, because now your emotion, the body has been purified. Now you're getting ready to go work on the mental plane, which we'll do in the third degree. So the second initiation has to do with the astral body. Now, let's get into the third initiation. Reading from the Ascension Manual, the third initiation has to do with developing self-mastery over the mental body, and hence over the threefold personality. So, this initiation is also referred to as the soul merge. It is at this initiation the third initiation on the mental plane, it is at this initiation that the disciple becomes blended and merged with the higher self and becomes a soul-infused personality. See, now you're living from your higher self. That's powerful. I'm telling you, the technology that these masters give us, Master Baba, Z, and Master Chris, the technology they give us is powerful, but we have to activate it. The masters may give you this knowledge. They give you the power and the technology. They give you the technology, but you have to activate it. That's up to you. And in the third initiation, Stone says, the entire personality becomes flooded with light. Light from where? From above. Not light from this world, it's light from above, from the higher worlds. The disciple is no longer controlled by the lower man or desire. The personality vibrations are of a very high order. And that's your third initiation. And I know you all done experienced that. At each initiation, and listen, at each initiation, the disciple has become polarized to a higher level. See? Because before your initiation started, even before your probationary period, the gravity of your experience was polarized towards the earth world, towards the outer world, the objects of the world and the things to do with this life. All your faculties were pulled down and out into this world. And that's the fall of man. But now in this third degree initiation on the mental plane, you are now assuming the responsibility of raising your consciousness in and back up through a process of ascension. I told y'all, if this was powerful, this is powerful, y'all. In the third initiation, the disciple has become polarized into the mental body. After this initiation, the disciple has mastered the laws of his own nature. So now, all three bodies, the physical, the astral, and the mental bodies, have become pure. This is your ascension. Now, let's move on into the fourth initiation and show you where you are in those different planes. And we moved from the physical plane to the astral plane and purified our physical body. And then in our initiation from the astral plane to the mental plane, we purified our astral body. And then from the mental plane, we're going into the fourth plane of initiation. And there we have purified our mental body. So now, the fourth initiation is referred to as the renunciation and the initiation of crucifixion. It has to do with freedom from all self-interest and the renouncing of the personal life in the interests of the larger whole. So it's no longer, in the fourth initiation, you are no longer concerned about little you. Now you think about you're part of a greater consciousness, and it's more about humanity. You become a world server. So the fifth initiation is where you are going to attain God consciousness. And you go in the cycles of birth and death. You're going to get off the wheel of 84 and free your soul from the bondage of all bodily attachments. So now we're going to move into the sixth initiation, where God consciousness merges with the absolute itself. The sixth initiation is the achievement of one's ascension, becoming an ascended master. And so with your ascension, your fifth and sixth initiation, you're going to complete the cycle or the process through initiation, and you're going to become an ascended master. The adept's entire being, including the physical body, is turned into light. The physical body just disappears and is replaced by light body. Now, this is where Joshua David Stone departs from those early wisdom schools. See, in the East, all these early wisdom schools, they didn't talk about the light body. He says here, Joshua David Stone says, in the past, that's in these early mystery schools, ascension meant passing on to the spiritual world. And it still does. It still means that. But today, you have the choice. Once you attain your sixth initiation, you are now complete and purified within all the planes. Your physical body, your astral body, your mental body, and now your spiritual soul body has become so perfected that you have the choice, if you want to, you can materialize yourself still within the airplane with a light body. You can come and go as you please. See, these masters can move about. They can appear to us on a park bench at a bus stop. So in the past, the ascension meant passing on to the spiritual world. However, Joshua David Stone says there is a new thrust of the spiritual hierarchy to have ascended masters remain on earth and continue their service. He says it is no longer necessary to take along the physical body when one ascends. This is the choice of the adept. So when you reach your sixth initiation, Master Z, Baba, Chris, when you reach this final stage, you can materialize or dematerialize anywhere you want on any plane of existence. Ascension is the attainment of the Christ itself. It is becoming a perfected being, a perfected Buddha. It is becoming a full-fledged spiritual master, a realized being. You want to be a realized being? Then go through the process, attain your initiations, purify your bodies, your various bodies on the different planes, and you have the choice, once you're a perfected being, to be anywhere, anytime, on any plane that you choose to be. And once you attain your final sixth initiation, the law of karma no longer has any hold over you. See, these masters have transcended their karma. They're off the wheel of 84. The cycles of birth and death have ended for them. There is no death. They have attained their immortality. And once you attain your immortality, you are now considered an ascended master. And then he says, the adept has completely merged with the monadic plane of consciousness. To ascend, an adept means to balance his karma and purify his physical body on the physical plane, his astral body on the astral plane, his mental body on the mental plane, and finally, he awakens his soul on the Buddhic plane to his higher mind. And therefore, he transcends his karmas and awakens his soul and remembers the I am presence. And this is what it means to be an ascended master. But you got to be initiated on the planes of consciousness. And of course, once you initiate it, you begin to start your ascension. All right, we're going to wrap it up here. You're still talking about this sixth initiation. He says the consciousness of ascension is that of total joy, total unconditional love, and complete full recognition and realization that you are God and everyone else that you meet is God walking on the earth. And then he says, it is also important to realize that we on earth are now ascending every day. Every thought we think, every word we speak, and every action we take, the food we eat, how we spend our time, everything is raising or lowering our vibrations. You see, once you step foot on the path of the masters, you're not going to do anything that's going to be against your ascension. So you're going to do everything you do now, from the food you eat to the clothes you wear, is all going to be for raising the vibrations of your consciousness. Ascension is a very natural occurrence that we all will ultimately achieve. It is just a matter of time. The idea here is to shorten the need for time and future incarnations. So we're not wanting to come back again and again and go through the wheel of karma and the cycles of birth and death and birth and death and rebirth. No, we're going to cut it short now because we're at the end of Kali Yuga. We're at the end of this whole play. So now, for you and for I, Baba, we are going to attain our ascension. One of the keys to accelerating our own ascension process is to call this fifth dimensional ascended self back into the presence. I'm sorry, I missed some of it here. All right, let me back up. Ascension is a very real natural occurrence that we all will go through. The idea here is to shorten the need for time. So we're going to shorten the need for time, and hence future incarnations, by applying or focusing our energies now on spiritual growth as our only purpose for being here. And that's it. We don't want anything else. We don't want anything else. So now we're going to spend all our attention only on our ascension. The negative ego will try to take us on illusionary and glamorous side roads, which are not where we really want to go. No, we don't want to sidetrack. We don't want to step off the path. We know how that goes. We've been down that road before. Hadn't we, Baba? Now, one more, and I'm still reading here from the Ascension Manual. One more very important point to understand in this process of ascension is that since in truth there is no such thing as time or space, there is an aspect of each of us that has already ascended. There's a part of you that's already ascended. You see, it's like a DVD record. When you get a record, them old records you play on a stereo, that the last song is already on that record before you bought it. Before you brought that record home from the store, the last song was already on that video. Likewise, from a causal perspective, beyond the realms of time, this world and your ascension is already complete. So, there is a part of you, Master Z, that has already ascended. Now, one of the keys to accelerating, and we're going to accelerate our ascension, and one of the keys to that process is to call this fifth dimensional ascended self back into the present. So you're going to call on your God self, the part of you that has already ascended from a causal perspective. So if we're going to accelerate our ascension, we're going to call that forth and have him or her, the real you, blend with our own aura here on the earth plane. This will help to raise our vibrations up to an already ascended level. Man, that's powerful. You can do this. You can do this. Call on your God self, your ascended self that has already ascended from above the causal plane. Everything below in the worlds of time have already happened. All your incarnations, past, present, and future, have been taking place all at the same time at once. Only can you know this from your causal mind, because your causal mind sees it all. This is where your ascended self already exists. Call on your existing already existing ascended self, and it will accelerate your ascension. The spiritual body is already doing the work on those ascended levels and is patiently waiting for the rest of the 6 bodies to catch up. It, your ascended self, wants to blend with you here in the eternal now. But you, in your current condition, you must ask for it to do so. You have to ask for it. You have to want it. For that is the cosmic law. There you go. That is the cosmic law. The cosmic law is that you have to ask. You have to ask for it. That's the law. Ain't nobody going to do anything to you here on the earth plane. There are no victims. Everything that happens to you, you wanted it on some level. Well, now you want your ascension. And so that's what you're going to get. So this is it. I might make another tape, but for now, masters, listen up. Call on your ascended self. The part of you that has already ascended from out of time. Merge your aura and your vibration and your consciousness with it. Call on it because you have to ask. That is the cosmic law. And it will accelerate the process that you're going through in the illusion of time. It will accelerate your process as you ascend the different planes from the physical to the astral, from the astral to the mental, and then finally from the mental plane to the causal plane and beyond, all the way up to the God world. That's the process of ascension, and the only way to achieve this is through initiation on the inner planes with a master. So call on your master self, and he will appear to you in your nighttime dreams. That is all for now. Peace.